At the very least to you, it was when you saw any motivational video or movie, you had to feel very motivated, and you decided that from now on I would do a lot of hard work, and that I would get a lot in my life so quickly as possible, and as the next day comes, the whole motivation must have gone anywhere, and you've come back to your old. Number 1. Offer restricted. In every game, cricket, football, etc., all the participants have been given a certain time restriction and instructed to play and make a score in that short period. So players strive to do their best in that time in order to win the match. Assume that if they haven't given a period and were not told of the number of over-related events in this specific match, then what do you think the players are going to play with the same strength and intensity? They obviously will not, because if they feel that they can play and have a lot of time when they want, their motivation and focus will start to decrease. The same thing happens with us. Most people live their lives, they feel that they have a lot of time, that they can work later and continue to work and do something important. Hearing these things, most people will not feel good, but understand and accept the fact and the reality. I'm telling you all of this, not to make you feel bad, but to make you accept the reality and to make you understand that you have limited time, to make you realize that you have a limited time and to achieve your dream and goal. Gary Vaynerchuk was a 4-time New York bestseller author, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, and one day, when he was in the car, suddenly there came a woman to him and asked him to say 3 words that can motivate her. So Gary said, "You'll die." Hearing these women got a shock, but she understood the reason behind these 3 words after explaining why she had said that. Number 2. Price eyes. If I keep a long thick wooden stick on the floor and ask you to walk on that stick, you'll easily walk on that stick and cross it. But if I keep the same wooden stick on the 20th floor between 2 buildings and then ask you to pass that stick, and that's really tough for you, then you'll be afraid to do that. Because everything was focused when this wooden stick was on the floor, you concentrated on that particular stick and on the crossing of this stick. But when the same wooden stick with the same physics has been kept between the 2 buildings on the 2nd floor, your focus shifts from the stick to the fear of collapse. Number 3. Stay starving. In 1976, when Arnold began his work in the wood holly business, the author had the opportunity to take an interview with Arnold. Arnold wasn't very popular at the time, and almost everyone didn't know him. Even the author didn't accept Arnold's interview, but it was his job. He made his work and interviewed Arnold. In an interview, the writer asked him a question: "What are your future goals, like what you want to do next, after living bodybuilding?" For this, Arnold replies to him with great calm patience, while he has food, that now I'll be a gigantic star of Hollywood, and that I'm listening to that author feeling like he's laughing, because there wasn't a star or an actor who has such a large copper, and it's infected, that the time the slim body is a gigantic trend. Again, Arnold answered quite calmly, "Just like I achieved my goal. By creating a vision and thinking about it, what you wanted to do in accordance with it, and by feeling that I already have accomplished my aims. I did not know it well, but after few years of watching the news on television," he wrote, and proceeded from there. He heard very shockingly how Arnold became Hollywood's big celebrity. His second picture, Terminator, had amazing reactions from the crowd and became a famous star. Other stars were inspired by Arnold and began bodybuilding, and still, bodybuilding works on the film business. And you had a hungry plan, you had to go through it. You were so hungry that at this time you could not pay attention to anything. The only thing you wanted was to have no food. Well, if this thing happened to you, then you have to do it for your goals. You have to be starved to accomplish your goals. You have to be so hungry you can't see anything. This helps you to remain motivated and focused on your objective. Number 4. Fake it. What the author has not understood about Arnold's design earlier, this point clearly shows that you must be well aware of many psychological principles that show how self-lie is helpful. For example, if you're sorry, if at the time you say "No, I'm not sorry, I feel great, I'm happy," and try to smile strongly, because your brain wise a fake smile. Number 5. Peacetime sweat. There is a saying that sweats more in normal or peacetime in Marine SEALs, otherwise, you would have to bleed more during combat. And you'll be very quick to know what this saying has to do with motivation, as Steve and Rhett from infancy have learned this saying when they used to practice a base league. Here, this history explains why this preparation will help us deal with the normal situation nicely and smoothly. First, if we first prepare ourselves for difficult circumstances, because there is a lack of motivation in us, because of the fear that is within us if we lose, or something like this that does not allow us to go ahead. Even Muhammad Ali used to follow this method. When Muhammad Ali had a game, he used to train with an adversary a lot more strongly than the adversary he faced on the actual ring. which made it easier for him to fight the less powerful adversary. Try practicing difficult circumstances initially to facilitate the handling of routine ones. Number 6. All buttons push. There are a number of various types of buttons in this cockpit in which the pilot sits and flies on that specific flight. Imagine if the pilots don't know for what that button works. So it's positive passenger news? If this pilot runs this aircraft smoothly, we are also the pilot of our life, even though we have many keys, or may say different factors in our lives, which have a profound influence upon us and encourage us to be conscious of it. We have some music that activates us, making us feel thrilled, fantastic, and songs that make us feel sorry, and some videos encourage us to act, and other videos again cause us to feel unhappy, some friends to stimulate us and help us go on, some of them make us feel in the same manner. You may experience different emotions as triggers and buttons in your life. You have to find out as much as possible your buttons or declines, attempt to get maximum information about your buttons, know yourself, get a sense of what drives you to feel negatively, and, after understanding these buttons, utilize them to be constantly motivated. Number 7. Take note of it. Author After the seminar, Steve took a seminar and asked him, I started to do a lot of work, but I was unable to complete it, so what is the answer for that? Which statement should I perform to complete those tasks? What should I do? The author said therefore that you won't solve your problem with some affirmations, instead, it means that your belief is weak and that you have become difficult to finish any work, and so the solution is to give yourself small and easy tasks at first, which you can easily accomplish by selecting a task from those. Because of this, you will strengthen your belief system and understand that you have the capacity to do work or any task, and that once this system is strong, you can do any job, whether little or large.